Okay, we're here. Cullen, how you going?
Very well, Dino. How are you, sir? Happy to be here, my friend.
Oh, likewise. Finally, we get to sit down and have a chat outside of our meet. We met last time back in August in Sydney through Broker Day.
Yeah, I can't believe that's flown, and it's almost going to be time again to do round two, huh?
Mate, it is. It's in its fourth year, and I think,
Fantastic.
given what we've been seeing from the Royal Commission last Monday, I think it's going to be a very, very important year for brokers and the industry alike. What's your take on last Monday's recommendations that came out?
Well, it's intriguing. My LinkedIn feed has been blowing up, obviously. But for those who don't know, like our sort of niche that we deal with in legal home loans is just the legal professionals. So we're obviously it's when we say it's business as usual, it's still business as usual. Like our business hasn't really slowed down at all. But in terms of the industry, I can definitely feel the ripples, and it's definitely like a major shift, right? Because no one was expecting, this kind of, I guess, reaction from what the whole focus of the Royal Commission was, on banking misconduct and whatnot. And I'm an ex-banker, so I guess I can have a comment on that too, coming from Macquarie, and I can put my hand up. The culture there was great. But I think it blew a lot of people for six. And you would have seen that as well, Dino, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, given I've still got a strong passion, I might not be on the forefront of the broking industry, but I've still got a huge passion and advocating for what brokers do, especially through National Finance Brokers Day. And any way, shape or form, I can actually get messages out and clear message to the consumer market on what brokers do. I think there's been a lot of lots around where the Trail Commission is moving to, and given we're going to start seeing some changes come July next year, I don't think there was ever that real education piece from a consumer standpoint on why a Trail Commission was actually paid to a broker. And
I think that's an important point, definitely. Like the fact that it's actually an acquisition fee paid by the banks, right? And it's not actually something that is measured against in terms of service given to clients, and it wasn't breeding. Obviously there's the whole volume bonus argument back in the day, but obviously that kind of thing isn't happening as much now. But from the client standpoint, they weren't really being disadvantaged at all using a broker. It actually breeds more competition, and for there to be a more level playing field. Because what happens is in any free market is when you limit the amount of competitors, then and there's only 1, 2, 3, or 4, then it becomes sort of an oligarchy, and they're all sort of price against each other, and they can sort of up the prices and without much competition. So obviously being a broker, I'm a strong advocate for the broker model. I think it's a great way that a consumer can who's not very au fait with finance or maybe an expert, but basically deliver their finance to someone and know that they're vendor agnostic, they're going to do all the work, and they're going to get a solution that's right for them. Because if you walk into one bank, you're going to get one bank solution. If you go with another bank, you're only going to get that bank solution. Whereas a broker has 30 to 40 financiers on their panel to choose from, and I don't see how that model could be in any way unfair. And obviously time is money, so obviously they have to be remunerated some way. So those banks are getting all the work done for them by the broker. The business is coming to them, and they're paid a fee upon settlement. So in terms of the model itself, I think it's a fantastic model, and it breeds great outcomes for clients. With the current changes, I would expect to see, if they did get rid of the Trail Commission, it would be like a larger upfront, is what they're considering, I'm guessing. But in terms of who pays that, whether that goes to the consumer, is the question on whether that's a good outcome for the client, whether they should be paying, for the service of a broker or a fee for service. I'd be interested to see your thoughts on that too there, Dino. Yeah. Because we talked about the first homeowner, right? Situation, right?
Yeah, and there are those people. I mean, I'm from Perth, you're from Sydney, a completely different marketplace when it comes to purchasing property. But let's take it from the Perth area that I'm looking at. So
let's do it.
First home buyer in there that potentially is looking for a 5-10% deposit, and they come up with 30,000, 35,000, potentially add your stamp duty on that, they need to come up with at least a minimum of 50,000. And a lot of people aren't in that position, and they can click their fingers, go to the bank and transfer 50 grand to their settlement agent and they're ready.
Correct.
So a lot of it is we alienating a lot of these consumers out there that potentially are scrounging around for that 5% deposit plus a stamp duty to all of a sudden go, hey, here's an invoice for my fee, for my service. You need to come up with another few $1,000s to actually pay for that. Or we're going, you can't do that. You're actually going to go direct to a lender. And outside of it, I mean, we call in the industry what vanilla deals are, where there's a perfect couple, no credit history, earning $200,000 between them and have discretionary servicing of $4,000 a month, which is very few and far between these days.
Yes.
So where do we place people that may not fit into a major bank's box or even a second tier's box, and they need some outside of the thinking and outside of the box solutions from an expert broker? And this is where we're seeing non-conforming loans come in, whether that may be because they have a couple of credit defaults on their file, or they're doing low doc loans, whatever it may be, those ones that still do low doc loans, whatever it is, we need this panel, we need that competition through the broker market, because everybody is in a completely different situation when it comes to their finances. And if you're not having somebody sitting there understanding what your finances are, what your goals are, and potentially even what your goals are for the next year or two when it comes to your lending requirements, then I don't see how somebody in purely just a lending position that has one suite of offerings can do that. And are you keeping that relationship beyond 12 or 24 months? Because majority of people work in banks, and like you've done it, I've worked in 2 of them now.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people are freezable, and they want to move on and they want to do the best. So in that aspect, they're doing fantastic jobs, don't get me wrong. But when those next opportunities come up for them, they will take them, and therefore that succession planning comes into play when you're talking about lenders. So you're getting a new lender in there, and you're not potentially dealing with the same person that you did 12, 24 months ago.